Welcome to the Rise Inside podcast, hosted by Justin Starbird and powered by Rise Robotics. Listen as host Justin talks to experts from the Rise team about topics relating to mechanical engineering, industrial design, commercialization, and innovation. True collaborations work when ideas are integrated at inception to solve significant problems. Rise Inside brings together how the team continues to work with great folks to commercialize ideas. You're listening to the Rise Inside podcast. Here's your host, Justin Starbird.
Welcome back to Rise Inside. My name is Justin Starbird, and today I'm excited. I get to talk to a couple of really awesome people. I have Suchit Jain, Vice President, Strategy and Business Development of SolidWorks 3D Experience, presented by Dassault Systems, and a good friend of mine, Arron Acosta, CEO of Rise Robotics. Guys, welcome.
Hello, Justin. Hi, Arron.
Hey, always good to see you. And good to see you again, Suchit.
Absolutely. Same here.
Really glad to have you guys on. SolidWorks has been a part of the Rise DNA and fabric of our company for so long, and really want to learn more about it and teach our listeners about the opportunities that are out there. Suchit, I know SolidWorks 3D Experience was built out of Dassault Systems. Can you tell us about it and how did it come to be?
Yeah, so SolidWorks has a pretty unique story. Actually, Dassault Systems, which is a French company, acquired SolidWorks in 1998. Yes, that many years ago. 1995 is when SolidWorks came about. And one of the premise in those days, it used to be mainframes, computers running CAD design. It used to be only meant for the chosen few, if you will. And SolidWorks' promise was that it brought the power of CAD and computers in design process to every engineer's desk. That was the promise, and we have kept that all the years, all the way till now. I mean, we started from no users in 1995 to close to 6 million users using SolidWorks, and it's been I'd say close to 26, 27 years, and in software industry, you would say, 26 years old product. Well, guess what? We are as young as Arron's company and so on, right? Rise Robotics. So we keep in touch, and our customers like Rise Robotics keep us on our toes. And so, yeah, I mean, it's been quite a journey, and SolidWorks is sort of the design tool for detailed design and the kinds of things which Rise Robotics, as an example, does.
So kind of like a 26-year-old startup.
Yeah, exactly.
Suchit, what is your role there at SolidWorks?
Yeah, so I have, it might sound a lot of different things, but I usually talk about three main things of my role. One is more strategic. This is about anything to do with M&A, technology acquisitions, keeping an eye on how go-to markets to our customers and so on. Things keep on changing in business models and technology and so on. So keeping an eye on that and looking around that. Second pillar is what I call as early engagement. This is how we work with a lot of startups, where our goal is to provide software and the network for budding startups to come about till they become real businesses, right? And it's a paid forward sort of a thing, because if they succeed, then they become very good paying customers for ourselves. Within that early engagement, everything to do with education. SolidWorks is used in pretty much 4-year colleges, universities, community colleges, even in high schools, middle schools, everywhere when it comes to STEM and engineering. So it's very popular and so on. So my team and us, we take care of that. And the last part in the middle pillar is anything to do with fab labs and making and makers, what I call as grassroots manufacturing in the corners of every part of the world. So this is what we do. We work with Fab Foundation at MIT very closely in enabling that. And then the last pillar, the third pillar, is about our users, around user advocacy, making sure that our users are really become our champions. They are happy, they're doing what they're doing. And that part is the easiest, because our users are kind of the rock stars of engineering, and they're very passionate in what they do. And our job is to enable them. So those are the three main things.
Well, I'm fortunate to have one of those rock stars here on the show with us, and Arron. Arron, how did you get to know SolidWorks, and how did this relationship start?
SolidWorks delivered on its promise and put the ability to design full vehicles and objects, from anything you could really conceive. They put it onto a laptop for students, and my co-founder Blake Sessions had a pretty strong mastery of it, even in high school. I don't know his exact story. It might be a good question for another time, but the first robotics program, I think, was the beginning for him. And then I experienced it at MIT, where we were learning how to draw in a computer the things that we were going to fabricate, and then we had been previously drawing in a notebook. So that was my first SolidWorks experience, and then got hooked on it. I haven't touched SolidWorks since college, but my team has several licenses. We have a strong mechanical engineering team that has grown throughout the phases. Currently we're using a PDM server, and we have this enterprise grade set up for essentially backing up our production revisions. And we're midway through our journey with SolidWorks.
Well, maybe Justin, I can add something about FIRST Robotics very quickly, because Arron mentioned it. I'm a passionate mentor at FIRST Robotics myself. SolidWorks and the Dassault System teams have been working with FIRST Robotics since literally late 1990s. And Dean Kamen is a good friend of SolidWorks, who's the founder of FIRST Robotics as well. They use SolidWorks as well in their stuff. But we sponsor a lot of the FIRST Robotics teams out there, all across the world. And of course, there are a lot of them in US, and we are very passionate about that as well. So a lot of our extended community are mentors at FIRST Robotics. And to tell you frankly, at the SolidWorks, we call it our emotional paycheck. When we work with
it really is. It's so gratifying. I actually was a mentor as well. It's amazing.
And it's so glad to hear. And these stories we hear all the time, like Blake using FIRST Robotics. And this is, by the way, what I meant by the paid forward. Guess what? Yeah. Blake used it at FIRST Robotics, got exposed to it, got to MIT, convinced Arron that that's the right software to use. Then they started to use it, and now they have become our paying customers, right? That's the perfect story.
Yeah, happy to pay too. It's great functionality. So
talk a little bit about that, because you talked about a couple of things there. You talked about the use case, what you can do with it, and then you also talk about the community. And I think as of kind of getting to know it and seeing it in action every day in the lab, what are the pieces that are most important today, or even going back, Arron, you talked a little bit about winning a couple of competitions as a result of the work that was done. What's the context behind that?
Oh, the ideas really begin in sketch form, and then they get turned into parts, and this is all happening digitally after some notebooks. The best work is really done on pen and paper at first, until it's then put into a computer. And it's easy to do it quickly and efficiently on a laptop, which is great. And then from there, later on down the line, we're managing the parts that are in production and tracking revisions on them. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. Along the way, though, you can virtually test before you build. And if you haven't used a CAD editor, it's a real joy. It can be frustrating though to learn some of the.
Well, some of the elements which are just amazing. If you like, for us, people who are using it all the time, and this is not just about SolidWorks, but in terms of CAD, the ability to essentially create everything virtually on a computer. And when I say virtually, this is not a sketch. This is you can make any edits. We call it parametric CAD, which means you change one thing, everything dependent. Changes along with it. And there's this idea that we are creating very detailed design. So it's not just an artist rendering, an artist concept. This is about you're going to design something, you're going to test, make sure everything functions, so that when you actually make it, everything just falls together so nicely that it works the very first time. And that is really the big promise of what you can do. And this is why people like Rise Robotics, Arron, Blake, and so on can actually take their ideas and prove that they actually work. I'm sure, Arron, you guys, when you were raising money or going in front of investors, it was much better to show, even if you have not manufactured anything yet, to show a working prototype in a virtual scenario, which a tool like SolidWorks can help you do that.
Yeah, we show all three, the what we've built that's real now, what we where we're going in the form of like a CAD model, and then a little bit farther out is just a design or a sketch or some vision that guides the process. So, and then the first time I met Suchit was we were at the 3D Experience World event. That's where I met you in person, and I was speaking on stage. They have a Shark Tank type pitch competition, and then afterwards spent some time with Suchit, got to know him, and here we are a couple years later.
I remember the dinner we did right after.
So much fun.
Where you guys won the pitch competition, and we had a fun dinner afterwards. And Justin, you asked about the community, but this is what we are about. We are all engineers. A lot of us are engineers within our company, mechanical engineers, civil engineers, structural engineers, software programmers, etc. So, having sort of, we are lucky, at least from the SolidWorks side, because we get to see what our software actually is able to do and help customers with, because they make physical things. So so the community thing is very big for us, making those relationships with our customers at whatever stage. Even a student in high school is in a way our customer of ours, and we have all these relationships from I would say 5-year-olds to whatever, 60. There's no limit, I guess, at the top end for it. So community is important to us, and I would say engineering community is usually very passionate about their trade and what they can do, and also they are very, I would say they are very fair and open, right? Engineers in general seem to be, at least among the engineers. I don't know about other places.
Well, there's certainly an opportunity to trade best practices and to share what works. And so to that end, Arron, can you talk a little bit about how Rise was able to, use the platform and the program and, kind of work through some of the iteration process before it was created, maybe make some adjustments before, especially as it relates to the new partnership with Anthony Liftgates?
Yeah, so I'm thinking of a part on the lift gate that undergoes a lot of stress, and it would be quite slow to either you try to do calculations for how it's going to break and how to then iterate that design. And in SolidWorks, you can just click a button and out comes these models that show you how it deforms and where it's going to break, and you can then change it. And so you can do this virtual kind of build test loop at the speed of clicking. It's really fast. You have to wait a little bit sometimes if it's a big simulation. But so we've tested it on the lift gate to ensure that, for example, latching or reeling or other features are robust.
Yeah, I mean, and Justin, to add to what Arron is saying, and I know that as the team as Rise Robotic grows and they test different scenarios, we can do all kinds of physics, what happens in real life. We can simulate in computers. So whether it's, Arron talked about structural analysis, where it will break, but of course, overheating, we can do thermal analysis. If it's medical related or not, Arron, you guys don't use hydraulics. You're replacing hydraulics.
We use a very small fraction of the capabilities.
Yeah, so it could be fluid flow. It could be electrical fluids. Systems we can design. But by the way, the technology which Arron and the team are using is the same technology. Our software is the same, which is used by Boeing to build the whole 4747.
Actually, a lot of our customers, one of the things that the CEO of Dassault System, Bernard Charles, he very clearly understood that Dassault Systems customers, SolidWorks customers are actually Rise customers. And it's the collaborations that we do with original equipment manufacturers and hydraulic manufacturers. Those are easy because we're all generally speaking the same exact like file language. It's kind of like, everyone else, when you're doing word editing, people are using .doc, and in this case, it's all the SolidWorks files. I mean, there's a common parametric language as well, and then we use the parametric features to go across many different configurations of sizes, so we can scale the the mechanics of configuring a Rise cylinder without having to redo it every time. We can parametrically save time by scaling easily.
Yeah, I mean, the good point you made, Arron, there is about the supply chain in a big OEM situation or any time, right? I mean, this world today, everybody collaborates. Parts are coming purchased. You don't design everything. Sometimes you're buying parts and all of that. Sometimes you're getting them manufactured from outsourced places. You're sending it somewhere else, whether it's, you're cutting metal or plastic parts or whatever. The good news is part of being SolidWorks network, as I mentioned, 6 million users. We have a lot of people who are manufacturing and making things for other customers of ours, right? And the common language is the SolidWorks file in this scenario, or the SolidWorks data, which we now have on cloud.
Yeah, the cloud.
Yeah,
the cloud is the
through
future.
the 3D Experience platform. They can exchange very easily all of that. So in a way, it's like Google Docs. If you use the file exchange versus Google Docs, we have all those scenarios as well. But just imagine Arron is designing something, sending it to a manufacturer. It could be, thousands of miles away, and they could manufacture and ship it. Everything is verified, checked, and they're speaking a common language that way.
So to that end, when you're building a design, or you're checking the engineering of a potential product, are you able to take brand name parts and say, okay, this hex screw is manufactured by this company, and we know the density, we know the material, and this is what we're using?
You can do perfect traceability.
Yeah, and not only there's perfect traceability, but all these purchase parts like the screws, or even not just the screws, but the motors and so on, which are purchase parts. We have a full catalog. We enable these catalogs. We work with McMaster Cars of the world, which is, as you guys, any mechanical engineer knows what that is.
Has one of those.
As one of those catalogs, we have digital catalogs, which we have enabled. And all these big companies, manufacturers, have partnered with us, which means they provide, not only they have the paper catalogs, of course, they have the digital catalogs, but then if Arron wants to represent one of those parts as a 3D object in his overall assembly, he has full bill of material, he can just drag and drop from their cloud thing into the SolidWorks software, and voila, it's everything is in there. So he doesn't have to spend time in recreating or designing things, which he's going to do purchasing of.
So shortly, those same OEMs will be able to take the Rise cylinder.
Oh, they already are.
Okay, and put it into.
Yeah, we test fitment all the time like that.
That's great. So you started off, Suchit, talking a little bit about 3D Experience. Arron, you talked about meeting at 3D Experience. Tell us a little bit about that. That program.
Yeah, so let me just explain very quickly. I know we have used the word 3D Experience quite a bit here, but so Dassault Systems is a company. This is the company which started in 1980s, designing planes and automobiles, right, on CAD and computer. French company, bought SolidWorks in 1998 or so, as I mentioned. And we are the ones who also created what we call as PLM, or product lifecycle management, because we believe that the designs you create, a product you create has a life cycle, and you need to manage and maintain it and all that. So that's the database, and managing all of that structure, we did that. As we moved into kind of last 10 years to last 15 years, we also created this notion that experience is important. More, in the end, the consumer experience matters for you and for our customers, but also our customers' customers, the experience matters. And having an experience, a virtual experience in 3D, is very, very relevant. So we coined the word 3D experience and all the technologies around it, and we created a cloud-based platform called 3D Experience Platform, which allows all of these applications and tools to connect such that the data is interoperable and that downstream people can create all the experiences you need to deliver to your consumers, all the way from concept, design, manufacture, lifecycle management, and even sales and marketing, right? All of those experiences, augmented virtual reality experiences, all of that. So we have a combined platform, and the key is this platform is a business platform because it has all the data. It combines engineering data, sales data, customer data, all of that together. And then of course you can build intelligence over it, all of those things. So we coined the word 3D experience for that purpose. So Dassault System, we call ourselves as the 3D experience company. And our job is to bring 3D experiences and enable our customers to create those 3D experiences in a virtual form such that when we deliver them in physically, they'll come out perfectly all the time. So that's 3D experience platform and how we are enabling all our products connected with that. And then we also have an event, which is now called 3D Experience World, where we bring all the community together. And this is what Arron.
Great event. Yeah, lots of first teams there, lots of other users. Yeah, you should go. People should go to this. This is a great event. It's like Rockstar. It's a concert for engineers.
Yeah, we call it the Burning Man type of, we don't go that extreme, but yeah.
Right. So with that, how did COVID affect it the last couple of years? I mean, and what's next for that? And for the experiences in person.
Well, COVID, yeah, I mean, we all want to get out of the COVID, right? It's been a couple of years, but I know in the beginning when it happened, to tell you frankly, for us, actually our engineering teams, even companies like Mass Robotics, I was at home and I got 7 of my 3D printers and we were printing the shields, the thing, the visors which hold the shields. We were 3D printing for the doctors, for the local community. We were working. I personally, a lot of our engineers here got personally involved, our resellers. I'm sure, Arron, you were involved, whatever. We were helping the community on ventilators, this and that. So that was that. And in the process, everybody, we got so many calls where people were saying from Turkey, from India, people said, hey, can we get free access to your software because we want to innovate and help solve the problems of COVID. So that in some ways also opened our eyes because suddenly, we had to provide the software very quickly. We did, but having 3D Experience Platform also helped us because, it's a cloud-based thing. So people sitting in their homes can interact and collaborate with each other. In fact, my good friend, Arron, I don't know if you know Matt Kearney, who was also—
I do know Matt Kearney.
Yeah, at MIT, right? Yeah. Well, no, Matt Kearney was with Hugh Hurd. Dr. Hugh Hurd was doing the—
Oh, yeah. Did he go to Duke then? Where'd he go?
He was at MIT. He did his PhD from there with Dr. Neil Gershenfeld and then Dr. Hugh Hurd. But he then started a company called Open Respirator, where they designed a new type of a mask. All of that came, and he gave me a call one day. It's like, Suchit, I'm working with these engineers without boundaries type of an organization, and we are like 7 different people from 7 different countries, and we want to can I get access to some software? And we did, and it was just amazing. Within like days, they were all running and creating these things together, working together. So I would say COVID, in a way, for us, I don't want to say it was positive, but the positive aspect of it was that how people can work together collaboratively when they have to, right? And yeah, so now I think things are coming back. I think business is pretty good, and COVID has probably taught us how to collaborate better, over the cloud and all of that kind of things.
Absolutely. All right, so guys, what's next in this relationship? I mean, right now we're immersed in in using the platform. Arron, you're saying, you've told us it's been a little bit of where we came from. It's what we're doing now. What's next for Rise?
Well, more licenses is the steady answer. We're growing pretty rapidly, building out our mechanical engineering team, building out our electrical engineering software, manufacturing. I mean, we've got triple the number of product projects that are starting now that we did previously. So we're going to be taking on more licenses. Is the setting up more computers, installing SolidWorks. That's the immediate. But there's some farther out stuff that's really fascinating around making use of the other tools for the rest of the life cycle. And as we journey into sustainment, we'll be there with SolidWorks, and it's really nice to have great partners.
Yeah, I mean, from our perspective, I mean, we definitely want more of the business, but more importantly, I think we are so pleased to see the success of Rise Robotics from the day. Actually, Arron, let me correct you. I think the first time I met you actually was not in Dallas. It was on our tour to Greentown
tour
Labs.
Of Greentown Labs. I remember it now.
Greentown Labs, which has been a great partner for both us and you, because there's a lot of these startups using our software there, and we work with them very closely, both in mentorship and so on. So of course, a shout out to them. But this is where we met. So we like this journey of the companies we work with. Not everybody succeeds, but we are so glad that Rise Robotics is where they are. And I think we can help them beyond the software, because a lot of your future customers, Arron, are already our customers.
Beyond the software.
Well, they already are our customers.
The software.
Right. So we will connect you.
It's great.
Yeah, we will connect you with a lot more of your customers, because they already are our customers.
Yeah, it was awesome. I'll tell a couple of quick stories. So we joined Greentown Labs, arguably the clincher thing that did it. I was on a tour at Greentown Labs. I was with Emily Reichert. I saw it was an old warehouse that had been cleaned up, and like 10 startups were stuffed in there. Desks in one area, like co-working open, and then lab in another area with like machining and welding and like prototype assembly and testing. And it was nice and all. And then there was this sign, and it said like free license of SolidWorks for your team, included in the rent. So that was the clincher right there. I was like, I got out my checkbook and joined Greentown Labs right away, and we set up shop and just started testing more prototypes.
That's great.
And then we met again later at the newer Greentown, and then at SolidWorks World. Lots of customers discovered us for the first time, became aware of us, started calling and emailing, starting to see like, what would happen if you put this in my machine, and we could show them by just providing them a CAD model to fit into their machine. I think there's some capabilities in the future. I would love to give them like fully working, kind of fully digital models where they can kind of configure it themselves and then virtually test it themselves and see the all the stats on like force, displacement, power, energy, number of cycles. We could be using it for way more than we're currently using it.
So there you go. That's the future right there, Suchit, right? That's what you're looking for. More customers like this that see a real value in it on so many levels.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's been a great partnership.
Like, how cool would it be if, like, the Boeings of the world, the Dassault Systems, I love that they were like a plane company that made their own tools and then has been growing this industry of helping other people with tools.
So Dassault Systems is part of the group Dassault, and Dassault Aviation, makes all the Falcons and those planes. So they use, of course, CATIA, which is the main software used in the aero and automobile industry.
That's great. Well, guys, I'm so excited to have had the opportunity to learn more about how this got started. Suchit, where you've come from, not even realizing that you're, so far into this. And it's like a 26, year old startup. It's pretty amazing. And then to see the startups that keep coming out of there, like our team here at Rise and what we're doing. Arron, thank you so much for sharing your perspective on, what it's meant to us, what it's meant to you going forward, and really all of the exciting things that are going on now.
Yeah, I want to give you thanks to the SolidWorks team members, or the system team members, Abhishek Bali, and Greg Smith, and all the people
and of course, Gianpaolo, you met,
France.
Gianpaolo.
Yeah, Gianpaolo, always good to see him.
He's always excited by what you guys are doing. He's a technologist. This is our CEO. But yeah, he's, we just love technology, and what you guys are doing is just awesome. So thank you to all you guys as well, because, it works both ways. And anyways, I'm so glad that you guys are where you are, as I said earlier.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, we've been cultivating a really great culture together. It's fun. I know my people when they walk into like a garage laboratory and see a demo and just go, wow, that's awesome. And that's always been you guys. That's why it's so much fun to hang out.
Good. Awesome.
Great. Well, I think we're gonna have to do this again with Blake, and hear some of his perspective too, and just hear him, talk about what got things started. So maybe Suchit, if you're up for it, maybe a part 2 down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to jam that way then. Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Well, guys, thanks for joining us for the latest episode of Rise Inside.
You have been listening to the Rise Inside podcast, presented by Rise Robotics. On behalf of our guest today and host Justin Starbird, thank you for listening. Please share your feedback on our LinkedIn page, linkedin.com/company/rise-robotics.